Okay, I thought I would help you out with another problem. Actually, I'm going to put these two word problems on the same video. Number 14 is a two-variable system word problem. And then the next problem will be a three-variable. Okay, so I'm told about a package, a couple of packages actually, that involves pencils and erasers. And it's my job to set up a system of equations and ultimately to find the price of one pencil and one eraser. So immediately I'm going to let a variable represent each of the two items that I'm supposed to find. And it should be a price. So X for me is going to be the price of one eraser. And Y is going to be the price of one pencil. Okay, and from the information that I'm given, I'm going to write two different equations. All right, so let's go to this sentence right here. The price of a package of 5 erasers, 5 times X, which represents the price of one eraser, and 2 pencils, so add 2Y, that should be 23 cents. Then there's another package, a package of 7 erasers and 5 pencils. That should total 41 cents. And now we have a system. And we have now a total of 4 different ways that we can solve systems. Graphing, which probably most people will not do. We have substitution, we have elimination, and we have Cramer's rule. Okay, so you could pick any of those that you want. I think I'm just going to solve this with elimination by multiplying the top equation by 5 and the bottom equation by 2 to eliminate Y. Okay, so let's get into that. Multiplying the top equation by 5 gives me 25x plus 10y, and 0.23 times 5 is 1.15. Bottom equation by 2 is 14x plus 10y is equal to 0.82. Alright, so we're setting this up to eliminate y with subtraction. So I'm going to put a little minus sign there as a reminder. 25 minus 14 is 11x. These cancel each other. And 1.15 minus 0.82 is 0.33. And if you divide 0.33 by 11 in order to solve for x, you get 0.03. Or in our case, since we're talking about a price, that would be 3 cents. So the price of one eraser, or X variable, is 3 cents. And now we can use either one of these equations to solve for Y. I'm just going to go with the top one. 5 times 0.03 plus 2y is 0.23. So 5 times 0.03, and you can use a calculator for this if you like. That's 0.15 plus 2y. Subtracting 0.15 from both sides gives you 0.08, and dividing by 2 gives you 0.04. But again, we're talking about a price, dollars and cents. So the price of one pencil would be 4 cents. Okay, so that ends up being your answer for number 14. Putting this in context, using words, the price of one eraser is 3 cents. The price of one pencil, 4 cents. Okay. Now we get to this 3 variable system problem. And I know that it's 3 variables because the final question says how much did you invest in each fund, and there are 3 different funds. So I need a variable to represent each of the 3 different funds and how much I invested in each one. So X will be the amount invested in growth. That's the growth fund. Y is the amount invested in the income fund. Invested in income. And Z is the amount invested in the money market. All right. So the narrative, this paragraph, is going to give me information in order to set up 3 different equations. All right, from the very first sentence, I'm told that I have saved up $3,200 and I'm going to invest all of this in 3 different funds. So the way I represent that is the amount invested in growth plus the amount invested in income plus the amount invested in money market should total $3,200. So that's one equation. My next equation is going to be based on the return on my investment for each fund. And for all these investment problems, you'll have one equation that's designed to represent how much money did you earn off of your investment. Well, we earned 10% times the amount we invested in the growth fund. We earned 7% on the amount invested in the income fund and 5% on the amount invested in the money market, for a total return on our investment, not a whole lot, but something. We got $250 from investing in these 3 funds. Okay. Finally, we are told we decided to put twice as much money in growth as in money market. So another way of saying that is the growth fund should be 2 times the amount that we put in the money market. So in other words, if we put $10 in money market, Z is 10, then the growth fund should be 20. And that does match up with what this sentence says. Twice as much in growth as in the money market. Well, this sets up really well for substitution because X is solved for in this bottom equation. So then we can replace X in the other 2 equations. All right, so let me see if I can squeeze that in down here. Here's my, I'll just number these equations. Here's number 1 and here's number 2. Those are the ones that we're subbing into. So replacing X in the first equation, I get 2Z plus Y plus Z, 3,200. Combine like terms, and let's put them in order. Y plus 3Z is 3,200. Okay, subbing into equation number 2, letting X become 2Z, we get, and this is another one of those cases where if you want to make the math a little bit easier, you could just slide the decimal 2 places to the right for all of these. There's already a decimal right here for 250, so moving it 2 places to the right just means we're adding a couple of zeros. So make sure you do both sides of the equation if you decide to change this. So I'm going to work with whole numbers instead of decimals. All right, so X is going to be replaced with 2Z. So 10 times 2Z plus 7Y plus 5Z is 25,000. And now combine like terms. This is 20z plus 5z is 25z is 25,000. Okay. Now these two equations that have two variables in them, we'll put those together in a system. So y plus 3z is 3,200. Y plus 3z is 3,200. And 7y plus 25z is 25,000. All right, and it looks like our best bet for elimination is to eliminate y. And to do that, I'm going to multiply the top equation by 7 and then subtract. So 7y plus 21z, and you're going to need to do 3,200 times 7, and that's 22,400. Okay, and I didn't do anything to the bottom equation. And we will eliminate y with subtraction. So 21 minus 25 is negative 4z. And when we do 22,4 minus 25,000, we get negative 2,600. Sorry about that. And dividing both sides by negative 4, we get 650. So our money market investment amount was $650. And now we can go back to either one of these and find out what z is. I'm just going to use the top equation. So I'm going to replace z with 650. So 650 times 3 is 1950. And subtracting 1950 from 3,200 should be 1,250. So the let's see, that was y was the income fund. So we have that amount, 1,250. Let's go ahead and write them while we're here. $1,250 in income. The money market was $650. And now it's going to be pretty easy to find the growth, x, because I can come all the way back to the beginning and plug in 1,250 for y and 650 for z. If you just add 1,250 and 650 together and then subtract from 3,200, so 1,250 plus 650 is 1,900, and you subtract 1,900 from 3,200, you get 1,300. And so those end up being our final investment amounts. 1,300 in growth, 1,250 in income, 650 in money market. And that's the solution to this 3-variable problem. You'll have one very similar to that on your test. So make sure you can set up the system and use whatever method you choose, either substitution or elimination, to come up with the values of your 3 missing variables.